Welcome to The Wedding Crashers, a video series where wedding photographer Anna Behning interviews wedding day professionals in an effort to assist couples in planning their dream wedding days. Today with me, I have Mast Wedding Films owner and videographer Jesse Mast. Hi, Jesse. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am especially excited for this episode of The Wedding Crashers because I feel like I get to work with videographers so closely, and it's exciting to be able to collaborate with you on this episode. So first, tell us who you are, what you do, and how you serve brides and grooms on their wedding days.
Yeah, well, Anna, thank you for having me. This is my fourth full-time season shooting wedding videos. And it's something that years ago, I never thought I'd be doing full-time because I actually didn't enjoy it years ago. And the reason is I feel like I didn't have the equipment and the experience to really give a quality product to clients. And so for me, as a perfectionist, as somebody who really values their work, I want to make something that's going to last for years and years. And that's something that I couldn't do years ago. And so I didn't like filming weddings because I couldn't give couples something that was going to endure, something that was going to be timeless. But now I have the experience, the equipment, and just the continual learning of how to make this great. And so I want to give a great product to clients that in 20 years, when they watch it, they say, this looks awesome. This looks timeless. This is something that helps us relive everything we felt on the wedding day. So that's what I care about, is the longevity, the timelessness of the product. And so that's how I try to serve clients best, is giving them something that's going to last, forever. On the wedding day, what I try to do is make them comfortable with me being there, because photography is an axiom of the wedding day. Everybody's used to the photographer, but not everybody's used to having a videographer there. And when as soon as a video camera is on you, most people have two reactions. One is the, whoa, don't film me. And the other is the doing this, or some sort of, current actions with their hands and their face that relieves them of embarrassment, but it kills any artistic value within the video. So what I try to do is, as soon as I arrive, introduce myself to everybody, except the couple, because I know them, of course. But then I just say, hey, I'm Jesse and I'm not here. You can ignore me, just go about your day, enjoy what you're doing. I want people to be aware of my presence and enjoy it, but also forget my presence, if that makes sense. So I want to make a product that lasts forever, and I want to make people comfortable on camera on the wedding day. So that's how I serve couples.
That's a great answer. Thank you for sharing so much. And I totally understand the timeless piece. I feel like as a creative, it's our job to make sure that it's not just modern today, but when you look at your kids are looking at your wedding album or your wedding video in 20 years, they can sit down and say, oh my gosh, this feels like yesterday, So
Exactly.
Great
Yep.
way to serve brides and grooms. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, so we're going to jump into a few more questions, if that's okay with you. How long is the average video for a wedding day, and what kind of customization can a couple do for a video?
I find that 5 to 7 minutes is a great length, because you want to watch your video over and over again. So you don't want it too long, but you don't want it too short. And I think 5 to 7 minutes is great because it has that rewatchability factor. But you don't need a 15-minute, I think, highlight film, because that's a little too long. If you're doing a ceremony video, ceremonies are typically 20 to 30 minutes long, then obviously that's going to be 20 to 30 minutes. But when you're talking about a highlight film, which is really the thing you're paying the most money for, really, like shots of the entire day, shots of getting ready all the way to the dance party, and then woven together with audio of the day that just makes you feel everything you felt. It makes you relive everything. I think 5 minutes is great, or 5 to 7 minutes is great.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds about right. Those are the kind of the average wedding videos that I've seen. And you, like you said,
Mhm.
it's a great amount of time where people can watch it and you can relive it. That's great.
Well, I'll just add one more thing. A service that I also like to add is a 60-second teaser that I give like within a week of the wedding day. So that's typically I will return like a full wedding video probably 2 to 3 months afterwards.
Sure.
But an extra service that couples can have is having like a 60-second teaser video that they can use for social media like within a week of their wedding day, and that way it allows them to share stuff right away. People who came can see it, and it's just something they can get really quickly, whereas the rest of everything takes longer to do, and is mostly intended for the couple. um, you know, somebody may not have time to watch a 7-minute video, but everybody's got time to watch a 1-minute video, especially when it's packed with kind of all the most familiar highlights of the day. So that's another thing that I like to add. So
That's super cool. I'm thinking especially for the brides and grooms that were COVID brides and grooms, and how the immediacy effect of having that video within 1 week, they can share to all their family and friends that weren't able to attend. And then
totally.
they can feel what the day was like, and they can see photos and videos just right away afterwards. I think that's a really cool feature that you've added to packages. So very cool. Um, let's keep going here. What would you say to a client that is on the edge about adding a videographer? It's very common for a photographer. I mean, every couple I know wants a photographer at their wedding day. If it's, a planned wedding day, that's kind of just an industry standard. But video has recently emerged where it's becoming pretty popular on wedding days. And so, what would you say to a client that is just on the edge of what if they want to spend the money or not?
Good question. I would say, in my experience, I've been doing this for 4 years. I would say most couples, let's just say 90% of couples want a wedding video. And then the other 10%, maybe 8% are on the fence, and 2% are like, we just don't feel comfortable on camera. We don't really want this. And that's totally fine. For that 8%, what I've heard from every single couple that has not had video, they've said, we regret getting video. And it's often brides who's like, I've seen a lot of wedding videos and I don't have one, and I wish I had gotten one. So maybe the first thing I would say is you will likely regret it if you don't get it, unless hey, we are not people who like to be on video, and that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So I would say one is you will likely regret not getting it. But the second thing is wedding video. If you look at kind of the hierarchy of different things that are listed in a wedding day, maybe there's like a top 20 things people spend money on, right? There's the most expensive things are usually the venue, the photographer, the food, and then it kind of goes down from there. And often those are the top first things people will book. I would encourage couples to put videography in that top 5, because the only 2 things you will have to remember and relive your day are photo and video. So I think you should invest more money in those things. Often what couples will do is that they will put videography in like the 15 to 20 area of that 20 item list. So in that 20 items, like I said, venue, photography, food, dress, all these very important things, videography is maybe like 15th, 16th, 17th, that area, if that makes sense. So I would encourage couples to put it into the top 5, because 1, you regret if you don't have it. And 2, if you budget well, if you invest well, you'll get a great product, because great videography is expensive. And there's a reason it's expensive. It's because it takes a lot of time and work to do, but it's worth it because you want to invest in something that's quality, and you also want to invest in something that's going to help relive your day. Something my wife likes to say is, hey, what if your videos help lower the divorce rate? And I was like, that's cool. It's not really a slogan. It's like mass wedding films helping to lower the divorce rate. So I like to say, I like to help keep a couple's love stay strong through cinema. And so that's why it's one of the reasons I want to make the product so good, is because it can, in a way, help the marriage. It can help their love stay strong. But sometimes if the budget is very low, or they're choosing it at the last minute, sometimes you won't really get, okay, by sometimes I mean always, you won't get a great product if you wait too late. So I just encourage couples to book videographers sooner and put it in that top 5 of most important things to book first. If that makes sense.
That's so cool. And I think it's funny that your wife mentions that, because what a better way to, like, if you're feeling doubtful or something years down the road, to look back and just see that love story on video and hear their voice on video from those years
Right.
past. So what a cool why statement. I'm just hearing your passion and your why as to why you do this and why you're so passionate about it. So I think that's super cool. Thank you for sharing that. And it's kind of funny as well. So thank you. Okay. You're
just trying to lower divorce rates, here in Ask Winning Films.
Exactly. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So you're answering my questions ahead of schedule here. So I love it. Thank you so much.
Oh man, we're just knocking through these.
We're knocking them out. One of the questions I do want to ask you though, how closely do you work with the photographer before the wedding day? And then I know that sometimes photographers and videographers are team members. What would you say to a couple that they want to, it's kind of like hair and makeup, they want to hire one person to do both?
Right.
What would you suggest for a couple that's like looking at either hiring individuals or looking to hire one person to do both?
Yeah, there's obviously, sometimes there's husband and wife couples that do photo and video. Sometimes there's companies that do both. I would say if you love the quality of both products, there's nothing wrong with going with a company that does that. And there's nothing wrong with obviously going with individuals. Sometimes it comes down to ultimately it comes down to, do you connect with the person who has the camera? And if it works, if you feel most connected to somebody who is just doing photo and somebody who's just doing video, then that's great, because you want to feel as comfortable as possible with that person. So I would say, can you ask the question one more time? I'm so sorry. Like I had a direction where I was going, but I want to make sure that I answer it correctly.
And I kind of asked a series of questions in this one question.
Sure.
How closely do you work with the photographer?
Yes, that's it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was the first one. Let me just say, I love photographers. They carry a lot on their shoulders, because I encourage couples to get a wedding planner, because it's so helpful. And a good wedding planner will be there on the day and will be the general driving the ship, but often that role falls on the photographer, not out of choice, but out of just obligation and out of service to the couple. They say, okay, here's what we're doing. We're going to do this next. And then people will follow the commands of, a good photographer who's driving the ship. But that's not something that I think were intended to do, in the great plan of the universe. I don't think that was something that they were always meant to do, but it often falls on them out of obligation. So I have great respect for them.
You're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like, exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, you got to drive the whole ship, Yep. So, my two favorite parts of the wedding day are, one, getting great shots of the couple, and two, working with a photographer, because often I make a friendship. We're able to talk shop. We're able to talk about what's going well. How can we help each other? We give each other creative ideas, and we often sit at a table and eat dinner together and just talk about our lives. And so it's a lot of fun. It's a breath of fresh air. You feel like you have a community right away, a team, and you're on the same page. Like when I meet a photographer for the first time, I say, hey, I want you to get the first shot, and I want to stay out of your way, and I will speak up when I need to get a shot, and right away I can see the relief on the face of the photographer that says, awesome, that's great, I'll do the same for you. It's just a immediate olive branch. And some things that I hear over and over again from photographers are like, oh, thank you for not getting my shots all the time, because the last videographer I worked with got in my shots all the time. But my favorite is always, oh, you're like my favorite videographer. I'm like, I'll never get tired of hearing that. Because, you want to work with people that you loved working with before, and you want to work with them again. So it's all about communication. It's all about saying, hey, let me know if I'm in your shot. Hey, just give me 1 minute. I want to get a shot of this before we move on, or before we move to another location or whatever. As long as you're talking through, and I love encouraging photographers, because, just asking, hey, how are you doing? Like, you're doing a great job directing people. Encouragement's really important to me. And everybody needs encouragement, especially on a wedding day. And so when the photographer knows that I'm on their team, I'm there to help them. I'm there to, make, not stress them out by getting in their shot, or by, I don't know, taking too much time. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't always happen the way you want it to, where you're like, I'd say, yeah, there's like 10 photographers I want to work with all the time, and only them, but maybe you only work together once a year, or maybe it's a few years before you work together again, and it doesn't always work out the way you want it to, but it's making those connections is great.
Yeah. And I would just encourage any bride or groom that's listening to this, that if they have a videographer or photographer in mind that they're really set on, they should just simply ask them if they have a photographer or videographer that they like to work with. Because sometimes
Right.
if you do work with someone frequently, it's easier to work with them, and your wedding day is going to go smoother. But
Totally.
that being said, too, we're really good at being friendly and work well with other people. That's just kind of in our job title. And especially being creatives, I feel like that we just get along from the get-go. And so
Mhm.
I don't think there's any problem with a photographer and videographer working together that hasn't worked together previously. So
No, you can meet each other on, like, right then, and immediately make a connection.
I agree.
It's not hard to do if you have the same goal, the same mindset, and you're working together well. Um, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
For sure. Absolutely.
And
Okay.
I mean, photographers recommend me a lot, and that's why I champion them so much, because I get a lot of work from photographers. And so it's I'm able to, put food on the table for the wife and kids because photographers recommend me. So it's a cherished bond. It's something that I value, and those relationships I want to continue to build. So
Sure. That's great. Okay, so a little bit jumping back more into like the actual final product. Um, just a couple general questions. You said it takes maybe a couple months to get the video back.
mhm.
What kind of background music does the couple get to choose the background music? And then as far as the audio goes, do you record multiple people speaking on the wedding day and include those clips? Talk us through a little bit about how the final product comes together.
Sure. Um, I'll just say one quick thing again about return time. It usually depends on when in the season the wedding is.
Sure.
So, like a week ago, I shot a wedding, and probably in a week or two, I'll have their wedding video done. That's like a 3-week turnaround.
Right.
That's because I have nothing else on my plate in terms of weddings, and it's the beginning of the season. Whereas if I'm shooting a wedding in October, I have lots of other weddings that I've shot, and it usually takes 3 months for me to finish all of these other weddings in order to get to that one. So it all depends on when it is in the season. But if I say 3 months and they get it in 3 weeks, then that's great.
Yep.
Um, under promise, over deliver. But
Exactly.
um, so, and then there was like 3 other questions with that. Could you
Talk us
say
through,
those again?
yeah, the final product, speeches included, and then background music, how that all comes together in the video.
Yes. So, okay. So let's take these one at a time. So let's go with audio.
Yep.
Um, High quality audio is really important throughout the day because um, those are the voices of the wedding day. Those are the way that people watching can connect with the people in the highlight film. And so making sure that there's good ceremony audio and there's good speeches audio is crucial. So I usually, during the ceremony, I have at least two different audio sources. So one is often on the groom, one is maybe on the officiant, and then there's one connected to the sound system. And that way you can hear the vows well, you can hear the officiant well. And those, I like to fill an entire highlight film with audio from the day. So from the beginning to the end, you have vows, speeches, maybe the officiant saying some encouraging words or even some funny words. It's a nice mix of humor and nostalgia with the audio. But right away, within the first few seconds, I want people watching to hear the audio from the day. And something extra special I do for like my kind of top package, my top wedding video package, is something that I call love note recording. Often couples will like exchange cards on the wedding day that they'll read kind of to themselves. And somebody videographers will do like a live reading, like they'll read it out loud. And I don't think that's a bad thing to do. But what I like to do instead is meet with the couple a few weeks before the wedding day and then record the audio of them reading their own card. And then I use that audio as narration in the highlight film.
So cool.
And in doing that, it makes the audio very clean, makes it more timeless, more poetic, artistic, ethereal, all the wonderful things you want. And so that's a lot of fun to do because then when I'm filming them reading their card, they can just read it to themselves and it's a private moment. And then when there's a shot of them reading it, you hear the voice of their partner in the film, if that makes sense.
That's very cool. Awesome. And then as far as background music goes, do you include some of that? Like, do you choose the background music? Does the couple get to choose the background music? Do you have background music in your videos?
Yeah, there are several websites that you can buy licenses to songs.
Sure.
And so it's a difficult process to find the right songs because it's all about just having the right tone, because music is so important in any film. I mean, you think of your favorite movies, often your favorite music goes along with those things. And, imagine certain movies without the music in there and it just kills the whole thing, or it takes away the soul of the movie and takes away the musical voice of the characters. And so what I try to do is go to these various websites. One is called Audio Network. There's a lot of great stuff there. And I try to find something that has a timeless feel, little hint of modern. It's all about finding the right ingredients, a little bit of modern, mostly timeless, not distracting, not too high energy, but not too low energy, and something that's going to kind of elevate the emotional feel without making it feel sappy. So when you add all those together, it's not easy to find just that right tone, right? Yep. That's why, the best kind of film composers out there are so good, because they're able to find the soul of the movie with the music. And so there's a British folk singer named Will Cookson, who's got just a lovely, just kind of soft, disarming voice. And a lot of his music I use in my highlight films because they are all those things. They are romantic, they're ethereal, they have some energy, but not too much. They don't distract. They have a little bit of modern, but mostly timeless feel. And it's And it's fun when you're putting the highlight film together and the shots are looking great. And then when you find just that right song, or in some case songs, if it's a longer video, and then all of a sudden the highlight film comes to life.
Yep.
And then when I get an emotional reaction watching it, then I know it's really working. But that's kind of the process I use in selecting the song. So
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jesse. I appreciate all your advice. If a bride or groom listening to this wants to reach out to you, how can they find you? And what is your process for booking? What are the next steps they can take to get in touch with you?
yeah, well, probably the best way to connect with me is through my website, mastweddingfilms.com. And yeah, just send me a message or an inquiry through the website, and then I usually respond within an hour. And what I love to do is Zoom calls. So right now we're doing a Zoom call, and it's just having like a 30-minute Zoom call with a client is a great way just to connect, ask questions, laugh, get to know each other a little bit. So I'm always trying to set up Zoom calls with clients because it's just fun to get to know them and fun to hear their story and fun to right away be a disarming person that's going to hopefully be, um, provide something they're going to cherish forever, right? So the Zoom call is often the beginning of that. With COVID restrictions and vaccines happening and the light at the end of the tunnel being brighter and brighter now, obviously meeting in person is definitely an option as well. But sometimes Zoom just works great because it's convenient, and just hop on your computer or phone and all of a sudden you can chat with somebody. It feels like you're meeting in person. So yeah, like go to the website mastweddingfilms.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at mastweddingfilms and send me a message, send me an inquiry, and it'd be great to connect with you on Zoom and hear your story and talk about your wedding day.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jesse.
Thank you, Anna, for having me. This has been great.
Yes.
Hopefully it's been helpful. And if couples are listening and they want and they're looking forward to having a videographer, it'd be great to talk with them more. So
For sure. Great. Well, thank you so much, Jesse, again. And I encourage all the brides and grooms listening out here to just reach out and hear about what you have to offer and how you can serve them on their wedding day. Thanks,
sounds
Jesse.
great.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Anna.